Hello and welcome. You're watching Cricbuzz Live on this lovely Friday afternoon. I'm Gaurav Kapur. I have with me my brothers Dinesh Karthik and Zaheer Khan. So basically, this is the GK, DK, and ZK show coming to you from three different parts of the world. Let's start alphabetically with DK. How are you, brother D?
Very, very good. It's been a very hectic Diwali, I must admit, but it's been real good.
That's right, because you got to take care of twins. Ooh, that ain't easy. You can tell he did manage a 6 minute nap while we were doing the tech check before the show. So I think he should be fresh for another 14 minutes, and we'll take it after that of how it comes. Moving alphabetically to brother Z, all the way from the UK. How are you, brother Z?
Very good, GK. Nothing has changed between yesterday and today.
That's right. We
So
were
upbeat as
so,
always. It's a very good morning here,
except our
and good morning
language.
to everyone.
Except our language, because at midnight yesterday, Zach and me were doing Cricbuzz Live in Hindi. Now here we are, 15 hours later, doing it in English. But we're pros, bros. We're pros. All right? It's not a problem. Pros before bros. What did I say? I said it right. There's two games today, of course. There's New Zealand playing Namibia. That's the first game. But the game that you're looking forward to, yes, I know. You know, I know, you know, we all know. India's playing Scotland. If there was ever a bottle competition, India would win because all of Scotland's bottles are here. But right now, it's not about a bottle, it's about a cup. And DK, the question is the cup still anywhere in our radar, in India's radar? Do you think winning these two games that are coming up, there's Scotland today, there's Namibia afterwards, is there still a chance? So do we fans have to just kind of give up hope and just enjoy the game as a game?
Oh, no, no, no. We shouldn't give up hope. I think until November 6th evening, we shouldn't give up hope. That's when New Zealand play Scotland. So that's the day that we keep waiting till, rather, New Zealand play Afghanistan on that day, sorry. And
Yeah.
that's the day that we can decide whether we want to obviously, give up hope. Till then, we should keep our hopes alive and keep praying. I guess we still have an outside chance. And with the way the boys played against Afghanistan, obviously, our run rate is slightly shot up and Afghanistan's come down. So, which is good news.
Yes. We have to find the good news, Zaheer. It's Diwali. We all must find hope and light and love and laughter.
Absolutely. I mean, there is no doubt about it. And you got to do things which are in your control, right? What is in your control is play good cricket, get that net run rate as high as possible, and get to 6 points. That's the best you can do in the current scenario. What New Zealand is going to do is New Zealand is going to do. That you don't have any control over. So if they get to 8 points and you don't qualify, that's absolutely acceptable. But you have to create that scenario for New Zealand where they are under pressure. You saw their game against Scotland as well. They lost 3 early wickets. They had 50 runs on board, but they did lose wicket. And cricket is funny old game, they say, right?
Yeah.
Pressure can make you do funny things. So couple more wickets there. You never know what's going to happen. And we are playing in Sharjah. So it's not the best of the wickets. If you just rank the 3 wickets so far we've seen in Super 12, you'll
Yeah.
say that you much rather be playing in Abu Dhabi or Dubai than playing in Sharjah, because it has been a very tricky wicket this year.
Yeah.
Some games have been high scoring, but it can go either way. So you don't want to get into that scenario and situation. But New
These are
Zealand is
two
playing
people.
in Sharjah, so we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Two people who have fresh two people who have fresh Sharjah pain, no? Very recent Sharjah pain. Two people here, both. Yeah, Sharjah pain is fresh. Those wounds are fresh. Though, DK, you have to say this pitch has become slightly better than when you guys were playing on it a few weeks back.
Oh, definitely. I think I expected it to be a lot worse, to be honest, because when we were playing IPL at that point of time, it did look like 130 was a winning score. But I think the wicket is slowly settled down. That's what happens when you relay a wicket at the start. It's pretty hard. It generally isn't great. It's settling down. Once it settles down, binds together, it's soil at the end of the day. Once it binds together, then what happens is it starts playing much, much better. And that's what has happened. You can see the way the teams have obviously batted on that wicket goes to show, the average scores have just gotten better, which is good news. And I think Sharjah is slowly showing its old face again, if I may say so. Literally, you can see your face when you play on a Sharjah wicket. So in many
Yeah.
ways, it's coming back to its old nature, so to say. Yeah.
So that's good. That's not bad. So there you go. These are the two games that are happening today. But listen, we don't even have to go that far to pray and hope, like the seventh evening. We can even cheer for Namibia today, and Namibia can do a big favor to India, can't they, Zach?
Well, I mean, depends on how they start. They've won the toss. They're bowling first, so we'll have to see how it goes on this Sharjah pitch. The only challenge they're going to have is this Sharjah pitch doesn't offer that much of a swing, and we've seen that Trumpleman what he can do with the new ball. Every team has been cautious when they were playing against him. They have three left-handers. The pace battery is something they rely on, and I'm not sure Sharjah day game how much they will be able to extract from the conditions. So that is something which is going against them at the start of the game. So we will have to see how they start with the new ball and whether they are able to create that scenario, because Guptill had to play a very good innings against Scotland, right? To get them to a total which they can just feel comfortable with. But Scotland also scored some 140, 150 runs. So anything can happen that way in this format. It's a short format. So you have to make sure that you lay that platform. So New Zealand batting first would want to get to that position first, and then the margin will also get you the net run rate boost. So that will be New Zealand's thinking, is what I'm anticipating at this point.
Guptill does have a problem with left arm pace. So most people do, right? If you can get the ball, Dinesh, I guess, to little go away from them. I remember that Trumpleman even got, when he got those 3 wickets, he also got, one ball to sharply kind of come in. I think that was his 3rd wicket that he took in that over. So that can trouble, even if you're in form, that can really trouble you, can't it?
Yeah, hopefully he's gained all the weight that he's lost. Apparently he did lose a lot of weight when he played against Scotland, 4 kilos to be precise. So
you serious? Wow.
Yeah, apparently when he did score it, he lost 4 kilos during that knock of 93. And let's just hope he's gotten better now. He's had a few days off. And Trumpleman, on his case, I think he's bowled really well. Some of his spells in this tournament so far have been really hard for the batters, because he brings the ball back in, bowls a decent length. He troubled the Pakistani batters. He's troubled the Scottish batters. Today, it's a chance to trouble the New Zealand batters. And definitely, any left-armer who's able to bring the ball back in is always a problem for a right-hander. Guptill is no different. Yes, GK, like you said, the away-going ball has been a problem for him over a period of time, but the one coming in is a problem generally for most right-handers, because it comes in a little later than you think, and that commits you to a certain shot, and then you fall over a bit a lot of the times and get LBW or bowl. So Trumpleman does have that quality, but what Zach said is bang on. Sharjah hasn't hasn't provided swing because of the humidity in the air and where it is at this point of time, especially in an afternoon game. So I don't know. Trumpleman has probably got to work more with the lengths rather than looking for the swing, which might not be there in Sharjah.
Let's have a look at the team composition as well. We'll have a look at the team 11 and check for changes if both teams have made any changes. Have a look at Namibia first. They've got 2 players coming in. Carl Birkenstock, no relation to the footwear family, and Bernard Schultz. So these are the 2 that are coming in. They, of course, still have Ruben Trumpleman, who we were just talking about, Jean-Nicole Lofty-Eaton, who has done well for them. And no, my favorite player, there's no Piquet of France. DK, where's Piquet of France gone? Oh, man.
Yeah, we all were waiting for him, and what a lovely name. Obviously, I think, that name which you said, Jan Lofty, has bowled brilliantly in the last game. He hadn't bowled up till then, but bowled and did very well. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he bowls again today.
Yeah, so Lofty-Eaton and Trumpleman, of course. But, Namibia bowling first. Are you a little surprised by this decision, Zach? Or did you think that this is what Namibia would do? Because New Zealand is going to say, all right, listen, man, this is a gift for us if we can do, the net run rate game on these guys, try and score big, go like we did against Scotland and try to do more of the same.
Well, you've seen how they played against Pakistan. They were playing freely when they were batting second. And when you have a target in mind, that kind of sets the tone. They're still early days for them in international cricket. Yeah. So if you're batting first, you don't know how exactly to approach the innings. What is the right kind of a total. But when you have decent bowling attack, you can always restrict the team and then know what is the kind of target you're chasing, and then just go after that accordingly. So Pakistan scored about 189. So they just went with that kind of approach. Even though they were losing wicket, they knew that they have to be aggressive. They tried keeping up with the required rate. and that is what has worked for them from the previous game. So they're going to continue with that kind of a approach, and it's the right one, because you don't want to be in a scenario where you're playing when you're not playing the conditions.
Yeah.
You're batting first. You actually have to assess exactly what is a good total on this surface, what kind of resources you have, all those kind of calculations. You don't have to break your head over it. You can just keep things simple. Okay, if it's a high total, we're going after that. Doesn't matter the conditions. So you take the conditions out of it.
Yeah, so I guess if the team is not as experienced internationally, and Namibia is not used to the conditions, not used to playing against New Zealand too much, it makes sense for them to have the target rather than go first and kind of be a little in the dark and maybe assess things a little wrong. All right, New Zealand, let's see how they have assessed this game, how they have assessed their 11. We have a look at their squad. No changes, no surprises. Guptill and Daryl Mitchell on top. Both have been in form in this World Cup. Guptill finding it actually in the previous game with his knock of 93, his kilo losing knock of 93. Then the captain, Kane Williamson, Devon Conway, who's been keeping wickets instead of Tim Seifert because they brought Adam Milne in there for him a couple of games ago. There's Jimmy Neesham, Glenn Phillips, and then, of course, full 5 bowlers there. Mitchell Santner, Ish Sodhi, the spinners, and the experienced Tim Southee, Trent Bolt, and then Adam Milne. DK, very experienced, ticking all the boxes kind of team this is.
That's what you would expect from New Zealand. They've found a winning combination. They're sticking to it. I still feel their batting is pretty vulnerable, especially if they lose a couple of wickets up front. They don't bat too deep, so that puts a lot of pressure on the batters who are batting up front to make sure that if they get in to keep going long. So they got to be very, very aware of that. That is something that could come to, a lot of that could get them into trouble in the later part of the tournament, especially as the bowling attacks get better. But it's going to be very interesting to see how the Conway, Phillips, and Jimmy Neesham shapes up, because the last time they batted, Santner was batting in the 16th, 17th over, which is obviously not good news for New Zealand. They would want Santner to come in around the 18th over, because absolutely no batting after that. I mean, Saudi can hit a ball, but I think they'd rather have the batters batting majority of the overs.
Yeah, Zach, here's the other thing, and we spoke about this on the show last night, albeit in another language. But here, I think the important thing for New Zealand is if they're looking at going... So here's the tricky bit, right? Your openers are in form. You've got Guptill in form. You've got a team here which is inexperienced. So you're looking at, buffet of runs here as well, with no disrespect to Namibia. But you're looking at a buffet of runs just like they did against Scotland. You want your openers to bat a lot and make the most of it, but you're also looking at a little bit of game time for your middle order, because going into, the death games, which would be the semi-final and final as they would be targeting, you wouldn't want them to be brittle or under-batted or underconfident or not had enough time in the middle.
Well, it's about dealing with pressure and batting in a match scenario. That you cannot replace with any practice. Yeah. So yes, from that point of view, it's always good that your batters get in form, or they have their game time. They face enough balls in a match scenario or a situation. So they had that opportunity in the last game as well. Yes, Guptill had to really play a good innings to get them out of the hole. So that is something which did happen to a certain degree. But the runs didn't come through, so that is the point which you're making. They lost only 3 wickets, and Guptill carried the innings through. So today, no different approach. You want, because of the conditions, Sharjah conditions are like that you want one batter to bat longer. You can't be behind the game in the first 10 overs. And if you're behind the game, then this is not a sort of wicket where you can just catch up with scoring those big shots. You have to be very careful in picking and choosing the deliveries you want to hit. Usually, you look to target the straighter boundaries, which is the shorter boundary. So that is something which has worked for the teams here. So that's going to be the key factor from New Zealand's point of view and from Namibia's point of view, that you don't let New Zealand get into that scenario. New Zealand will be trying to make sure that in that first 10 overs, you are around 70. If you are 60 or less than 60, then you are trying to catch up the game, and it's not the kind of wicket. You can lose more wickets if you look to play those big shots here. So you got to be very picky and choosy. So that's something which I hope Namibia has spoken about, and New Zealand must have taken the lessons from the previous game.
DK, New Zealand seems to find a way, right? In ICC tournaments and multi-nation tournaments, somehow they find a way to just get it done, right? To just get it right.
Very true. I think that speaks a lot about the nation and the way they've grown up. They obviously, I've always imagined what USA and Canada are is the relationship that Australia and New Zealand share. They're like the foster brother sort of a relationship. They don't get enough of the resources and all of the economy and all that, but they still fight away, stand tall, dig deep, and achieve the things that they've achieved over a period of years. Even though being a smaller nation, they've produced Olympic athletes, gone on to win medals in all the sport as well. So yes, they have a rich history. They're very good at rugby. Cricket comes in second, and they have been a nation when it comes to cricket who always fought hard and fought really hard and troubled a lot of teams, especially in these multi-nation tournaments. As I always feel they've been blessed with some great captains, all the way from Martin Crowe, Stephen Fleming, Brendan McCullum, and today there's a Kane Williamson who always thought out of the box in many ways. I mean, if you take a Martin Crowe, he brought in Deepak Patel to bowl with the new ball in '92 World Cup. I mean, nobody even thought of it. R. Ashwin did that for CSK after so many years at the advent of T20. But, it was just great to see somebody thinking out of the box at that stage and do something different. Mark Greatbatch sent in as a pinch hitter. Just various things that could help them, enhance what they have and, in many ways, rather, maximize the kind of resources they have. So, that's been the story of their nation. And even today, when with the COVID hitting, they were one of the first countries to absolutely shield themselves and be very safe from the rest of the world. Yeah. And today they're opening up slowly, still not opened up, so to say. So it's been a country which is small and they're very protective of their people, but they try hard and punch a lot above the weight a lot of the times.
Did you say first country to shield themselves or sheep themselves? Did you say? Hey, let's go to Zach and talk about Tim Southee. This guy, of course, supremely experienced. And but you think I don't know. I mean, if Loki Ferguson would have been there, you don't know whether he would have kind of become almost third choice after Loki and Trent Bolt, right? But if you just talk about him in this tournament, it's been decent returns, right? I mean, you'll take this, won't you, Zach?
Absolutely. In T20 format, GK, if you are going under 30 consistently, that means you're doing a fantastic job. And if you have wickets in the wickets column, then it makes it even better. So when you're bowling with the new ball, you just judge a bowler on the basis of that. If more often than not, if he's taking that first wicket in that first couple of overs which he bowls in the power play, that really sets the tone for the team. So for me, the measure is always that, if you're bowling with the new ball, what is that wicket column saying? You can be expensive at times, that doesn't matter. But if you have wicket in that wicket column, you are doing a job for the team, because the batters do come hard at you, and if they're set, it gets even more difficult. So that's the ratio you look at. If you're bowling at the back end, then it reverses exactly. Then it's about how your approach is in terms of options you're using, and then wickets in a way become secondary, but how you approach with regard to the strength of batters is the measure. And Tim Southee so far has been at it. The only thing which he has found it difficult over his career is to control those back end overs. So if, when there's swing on offer, he's a completely different bowler. But when you're bowling at the back end, at times he relies too much on that slower one, and that has really hurt him in terms of going for boundaries and sixes. Apart from that, he's a class bowler.
We obviously have not seen a really big upset in this tournament. I am talking about the first game. No, I'm not talking about the second game today. All right, don't even think that in your head, guys. Nobody think that sitting in front of your screens all over the world.
Two obvious upsets, GK. Come on, Pakistan beating India and New Zealand beating India.
We will not even. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. I deleted my memory from a few days back. It's gone now. There's nothing. Beyond the last 2-3 days, there's nothing. Somebody just told me there's been no upset, so I'm saying it. I don't remember these games he's talking about. I promise. Of course, they've been upsets. More than upsets, they've upset us. But today, can an upset unupset us? Because if Namibia does end up beating New Zealand, that would be very good for India. Yes, we all agree on that because we know the points table. That means that New Zealand, what you think are two easy points, would be dropping those, and India can get those. We talk about David Visa, the experienced guy in Namibia, and he's played a lot of cricket in South Africa. He's there now, and he's talking about this as well. He says in T20 cricket, one person can take the game away from the opposition, and if it's your day, you can stand up, you can have that player of the match performance, and you never know what can happen. Uh, I think he's they have DK, they have punched above their weight to get where they've got. Uh, they're no mugs, right? I mean, this team is no mugs. They're no pushover. And Visa's role there, being the experienced pro, the guy who's been around for very long in some of the round one games, holding the team together till they got to the win. You can't rule it out.
I was just thinking the other day, in the Super 12 stage, I think the three teams which have disappointed most of us the most would definitely be Bangladesh, West Indies, and Scotland to an extent, if you can say so. And the two teams which have actually punched above the weight, played very good cricket, I feel, but still been, obviously a touch below the rest of the teams has been Sri Lanka and Namibia. I think both the teams have really played well, played tight, maximized the resources they have. And you can see both these cricketing nations are a work in progress, but you see it's in a very positive light. I felt both these teams yesterday, Sri Lanka beating West Indies in a very convincing manner, losing the toss, bowling with the dew, doing all the things that's hard in a T20 game, but still ending up pretty comfortably winning against a team which had superstars right from the top to the bottom. It was good to see. Namibia consistently playing well through and through at the qualifiers, finding a way to somehow beat Netherlands, come here, and after this again here beating Scotland. So whatever they're expected to do, I think they've exceeded that, and that's really good.
Yeah, they're definitely the teams that have got the most positives out, Namibia and Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, we spoke about last night, super positives for them to take out in terms of players as well. But if Namibia can do that trick today, if they can really punch above their weight, Zach, today, then still that'll be the talking point of the tournament for a long, long time, won't it?
Well, Vijay's statement is amazing statement. That's the kind of mindset you should have. You got to believe that. And you got to believe it till the time actually it actually happens. So that's the journey they're on. The GK, it's always about proving yourself. So India is out there to prove how good they are. The Ireland is out there playing qualifiers. You have Scotland and you have Namibia now, right? Who played their last World Cup game was in 2003. So they have come a long way now, and right now they're looking like they've revived the cricketing structure. There is interest in cricket back. So these are the other inspiration stories which will get more people playing cricket. So in their country. So that is something which is their goal right now. They have 2 points on the points table. So they've had a good World Cup so far, and especially the last game. DK was right in saying that two teams which are looked really positive and have a lot of positives to take back with them is Sri Lanka and Namibia. Their approach against Pakistan when they batted. When I was watching the game, I was like, hang on, this team can compete at this level for sure, and they will give teams tough time in games. So that is something which I'm seeing right now. Just about creating that situation, and how Vijay was saying, is going to take one guys or two guys in this format. They can actually win your game. That is the journey they're on right now. They're not thinking of winning a championship. They're talking about, we have to create that belief amongst the team so that when they're playing the game, they're not just going out there and taking that box that, okay, we are playing World Cup Super 12. They're out there to win a game of cricket, and they want to see who believes in that, and they walk in with that approach and play cricket. So even though the target was quite high, they always believed that they can win the game. And that's where the approach and the attitude comes onto the foreground, and Namibia has achieved that in this World Cup for sure.
I think that's the thing. It's the positive intent. It's the belief. Can you do big things? And well, that's the first step to doing big things is believing that you can do them. I think it's easy to see what DK and ZK are saying, that there are two teams that have gone back with more answers than questions. And those two teams would be Namibia and Sri Lanka. And there are three teams that have gone back with many, many more questions. And especially if you take the West Indies and Bangladesh, a lot of questions that need to be answered and a few changes as well, I guess you would see going forward. But right now, we have a Joy Factor question. We have a Joy Factor question today. Is it a big one? It's a long one. Is it a long question? DK, he does this, man. The days he's not here, he sends this paper. See, I told you. The days he's not here, he will send this 6-line question. And when he comes, he will ask a 1-line question. Anyway, if Suresh Raina swept Shakib for 4 on the first ball of the 44th over of a specific match and then took a single of the third ball, what happened on the fourth? See, he's not even saying, like, you have no idea where this happened, what it was. The fact that it's the 44th over means it's not the IPL, right? So at least we know that this is an international game when he says 44th over. But I have no idea what he's talking about. Zach, anything? DK, anything? Anything? Anyone? Anything? Anything?
You have to figure out which game was that. So you have to just put India-Bangladesh connect and how it can be imported or what happened on 5th of November. Maybe some landmark game. You know me, GK. I'm not good with numbers.
Were you there in this game, though?
Very well could be.
If you ask Suresh Raina this, he will not remember what he did on the 4th ball.
I have a feeling that, and then he says he takes a single of the third ball. So I'm thinking if it's against Bangladesh, was it when Sachin Paji scored his 100th 100? After that, the next ball.
Oh,
perfect. DK, you're on the right track.
It's a good guess.
It could be something like that.
It's a very good analytical guess. I'm just saying, trust me, I don't know the answer, but this one's a good guess. We can even ask Shakib, actually. I'm sure that he'll remember.
I'm sure he won't remember.
You can text and ask him.
Fourth ball, what happened?
Yeah. 4th ball of the 44th over. When? I don't know when. Where? I don't know where. Just 44th over. I doubt if he's bowled too many 44th overs. So he may just remember.
It has to do with the date. It has to do with 5th November and some milestone.
Yeah, I think
that's what you know, Joyda, now. Come on.
#Cricbuzz Live. #Cricbuzz Live is where you get your answers in. #Joy Factor. Send them in. We feel like we're getting a few in already. All right, New Zealand batting first. The match is happening in Sharjah. Doesn't matter who wins the game. What's more important is who wins our little game. DK, ZK, and GK will now be doing score predictions for how many New Zealand will be getting in Sharjah. All right, gentlemen, get your guesses in. DK, you're the youngest. DK will go first.
185.
185. Zach, you said 165?
Yeah.
Beautiful, boys. Thank you. 175. I'm going to slide it right in the middle, baby. It's going to be I have a feeling today. Zach, I was right twice yesterday on the Hindi show. I got 2 correct yesterday.
Yeah.
#just saying. All right.
Because today you are very clear. The clarity is going to help you, GK, win today.
I'm clear.
You didn't hesitate. You didn't think about, okay, up, down, nothing. Straight.
Like an arrow, like a dart. The center bullseye. All right. We're going to be back in the 10th over with Cricbuzz Combox. We'll do a little update status check of where New Zealand is in their batting innings. And then, of course, we will be back at the end of the New Zealand batting with Cricbuzz Live. I want to thank Zaheer Khan, Dinesh Karthik. I'm Gaurav Kapur. You were watching Cricbuzz Live, the DK, GK, ZK edition.